Eriador is diminished. The time of the Eldar is fading, and the deeds of the men of the West are preserved only in their ruins. The shadow of a fear of ages past threatens all the free peoples of Middle-earth. And yet, hope remains. For in the hearts of unlikely folk is the strength to wander through shadow kept. And only thence can they come to the morning. And though the road is long and treacherous and full of peril, it is a road that these companions must travel. And only through strength of loyalty, friendship, and hope can they overcome the obstacles ahead. May the goodwill of elves, men, and all free folk go with them.
Hello and welcome to our inaugural episode of The One Ring, Fear of Ages Past. I am Moss and I will be your lore keeper for the evening and the foreseeable future. And glad to have everybody join us. I have a star-studded cast here. Some familiar faces from both chat and streams. Let's go around and we're just going to say hi to everybody and let them introduce themselves. JJ, why don't we start with you? How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing pretty good. Super excited for this. We have been cooking this up for a couple months now. The summer went really, really fast. So I am excited to get this thing off and running.
Right on. Me too, man. And I've said it many times on other streams. Like this has been something that I've been wanting to do for a long, long time. When I first started, doing RPGs on YouTube, and I was like, man, I really want to do that. Now I finally get to do it. It's like a dream come true for me. Speaking of dreams come true, I don't know. I need to find some other way to segue into other people. Michaela, how are you?
Oh, hello. That was a weird segue.
It wasn't a segue.
All right. We'll go with it.
It was damage control.
Yeah.
Fair. I'm doing all right. I'm ready to get going. We've been getting everything finessed in the background for a while, and yeah.
Good. And I know that you're kind of new, a little bit new to the setting. I know you said you've seen the movies and everything, but you did just finish reading The Hobbit, which I am very, very proud of you for. It is necessary reading.
It was a very good book. Yeah. I would literally have to make myself pass out reading it because I just didn't want to stop reading.
It's so good. And you know the thing that gets me is that The Hobbit is billed as a children's book. Like, how much more intelligent were children back then?
Right? Like, the way it's written, there are words that most people nowadays just wouldn't comprehend.
Yeah. Kids reading Tide Pods not too long ago, the level that they had to be more intelligent than nowadays is really low. So
it's true. It's a low bar. It really is a low bar. But I understand. So I'm not sure how true it is. I understand that if a kid is being read to, he'll understand it a lot better than if he's actually reading it. I don't know how true that is, but I heard it from a parent, so I assume it's true.
So yeah, no, I would totally agree with that because my mom, we read the Harry Potter books together when they started coming out because right at that age of like. That was kind of the reading level I was at, but we would read those together, and I have such a memory of those. Like, we read the first, 4 kind of together. Those 4 books I have a way better memory of than, Order of the Phoenix and the Half-Blood Prince, and I don't even think I read all of Deathly Hallows, because I was like, this book is too big. I think there's some facts behind that.
Yeah. Well, more
on what kind of learner you are as a child, if you're more auditory and stuff.
Yeah.
It probably does help for a lot of kids, I'm sure.
Yeah, well, I guess the moral of the story is, parents, read to your kids. It's really important.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Start with The Hobbit.
Yeah, why not, man? Why not?
Absolutely.
You gotta start with the cow jumped over the moon, and then you go to The Hobbit.
And then you get them. Then you listen to this stream with them. as
That's
we
right.
are between the Hobbit and the Fellowship,
That's
and then
right.
you read the Fellowship.
That's
we
right.
got
It's
a
gonna be
whole
canon now.
chronological order for you.
Where do you throw the Silmarillion in there?
See, what I'm gonna do is
After?
I'm gonna put together a stream where you all are playing members of the Ainur, and then the Ainulindale is gonna be the first session, and that means you all are gonna have to sing Arda into creation in its initial flat form, where the two lanterns are erected to light the world. So that's the kind of deep lore we're gonna get into here. So, and yes, that is in the books. For those of you who don't know.
I'm tone deaf. This may be a problem.
Me too.
We
Yeah, I
definitely
don't
are making the
think-
orcs. We are not making any beautiful elves.
Yeah, if you
We
want
are-
Melkor singing.
Well-
La, la, la.
Well, that was a beautiful voice, not discordant at all. Frost, how are you doing this evening?
Doing well. I'm just glad that you didn't say, speaking of low bars back then, and went to me. So I'm happy with that. That one's much better. I'm doing really well. I'm really excited by not only the setting, but the people you assembled, the characters that everybody has made, and the format that you're doing. I'm really excited by this. I think it's going to be a heck of a lot of fun. So regardless of my inability to sing, I am playing a character who sings. So that'll be fun. I'm not going to sing. Don't worry.
Well, you know, one thing that Tolkien does comment on, like everybody in the book sings. It's a big part of the culture in Middle Earth, but he doesn't get into how well they sing. So,
That's true. That is true.
I mean, you know,
And I
Obscene.
feel like the
Take that for what
hobbits
you will.
are the Irishmen of the singing, where the songs are great, but it depends on the time of the evening to of
Yeah.
which the performance is.
a late night singer then.
right. Give me that like midnight to 12:30 block, and we're
I'm the third act.
yeah.
There we go.
there you go.
I'll sing during intermission. That's fine.
There you go.
Yeah. Well, nowadays they play like Queen and Journey in intermission. I don't know.
Oh.
That's a high bar. But anyway, Commander N, how are you doing this evening?
I am doing well. I am pretty excited to be part of this. For those who don't know, I mean, March the Dragon Queen on G&G Tabletop is my first show I've ever been on, and I hope I've been doing well. I mean, people seem to enjoy my company, so I guess I'm doing a good job, but happy to be here, excited about the setting. I'm not a super Tolkien lore nerd like some people, but I watched the movies, and I've I've done some of the a little bit of expanded universe type stuff with some of the games, which I know is not always canon, but it still exposes you to a lot of the lore and stuff, and
Yeah. Well, and
it's too familiar.
yeah, and you know, full disclosure, it was not. I didn't like choose anybody based on their knowledge of Tolkien. I chose you. I chose you all, one, because I trust all of you, because I like the way that you play, and I think that you all have the ability to actually get into a story and stuff like that. Because anybody who's played this game knows that this is a very narrative-driven game. It's not about min-maxing characters and killing gods and stuff like that. This is about the journey and the obstacles that you overcome along the way. And I think that I picked all you guys because I think that you all will one, enjoy it, but two, tell a great story along the way. So, and I think that
I'm
like
to disappoint you.
yeah. Well, I think that I'm gonna try not to nerd out too much, because I've got all of these points in my head. I could reference this, I could reference that, I could reference all of these things. I'm gonna try not to do that too much, because
Don't worry, I'm
yeah.
sure I'll regularly ask him, like, so how much of this is common knowledge to just someone who's walking around?
hmm Yeah, probably. Well, to be fair, I mean, I think in the Third Age, a lot of stuff is not common knowledge. Like even the existence of the One Ring is not really common knowledge to most people. Most of the middlemen, which is basically everybody but the Rangers and people of Gondor and stuff like that. Anyway, with that, I suppose we'll go ahead and I've got a little intro to read to everybody to kind of set the scene. Our story begins in the year 2960 of the Third Age, or 1360 by Shire reckoning. The summer has made the Eriador air humid and uncomfortably warm, enough so that someone being caught outside without a handkerchief might well be in for a rough go of it. The hearth flickers a calm orange light across the gathering room of the Prancing Pony. The air is filled with the smoke of the finest pipe tobacco swirling into pleasing shapes as the firelight is cast upon it. The smell of smoke and fresh bread fills the room, and a few Breelanders sing drunken songs next to the bar. The comfort of the Prancing Pony is sung of across the Breelands and beyond. Adventurers, merchants, and wizards alike have all traveled the East Road and stayed to enjoy the fabled brews of the pony, and tonight is no exception. The inn is filled to the brim with travelers from afar. A pair of dwarves sit in the corner, nursing their flagons of ale with their bread and cheese. A trio of men talk amongst themselves, clad in foreign garb, as the proprietor, one Archibald Butterbur, and his young son make their way to the table to take their orders. And then we have our heroes, waiting for a wizard. So, JJ, we have a hobbit sitting at the table. Would you like to describe your character?
Yes, I am playing Miragar Two-Step. He's going to be your average height in Hobbit, probably a tad on the slender side since he did not grow up completely in the Shire. He is what is known as a Bree Hobbit. He spent a good portion of the beginning of his life in the Shire, and then the most recent bit of his life outside of Bree. And then within the last couple years, he's kind of ventured out on his own in between the Shire, Bree, and kind of the surrounding area. His garb is going to be, of browns and greens and kind of best suited for travel. Probably a nice kind of thick cloak for this kind of weather we have going on now. Wouldn't be partaking in any smoking and probably just a little bit of drinking since he likes to kind of keep his wits about him. And yeah, he would just be sitting there. He would kind of be fiddling with a small little leather pouch, which would be a gift from Gandalf. His last little dip into the Shire, he may have stopped in the South Farthings for the next time he would see Gandalf. Wanted to surprise him with a nice little package of tobacco, knowing that soon he might see him. And he'd just be sitting there chatting with his compatriots, maybe asking Thrush about any of the cool stuff he's been seeing lately or his most recent adventure, and then probably talking normal Bree news with Larry, and then probably honestly a little bit shy of our elf maiden. Probably not saying too many words, one word replies if she asks a question. But, by most regards, a standard hobbit. Nice enough fellow. And unless you're really looking for him, probably not really noticed.
All right. And as you're exchanging words with Thrush sitting across the table, we have our Ranger of the North. Thrush, would you like to describe yourself?
Yeah, so sitting there, obviously, against the back wall, smoking his pipe, which, like everything else that he wears, is very worn. Has seen a lot of use, including his armor, which has a lot of fresh scrapes, cuts on it. He is a tall Dunedain with grayish eyes, long dark hair, younger, not a full beard, a short beard. Definitely has seen a lot of travel on the road lately, but he has a very large smile and he's quite engaged speaking with everyone. He does spend a bit of time making sure that Aranel has something to drink that's to her liking. He's not exactly the most courteous person. He's a bit bold and he assumes a lot, but in this place, it's not completely untoward since it's Bree. But since he is a Dunedain, he probably sticks out a fair bit, since he is rather large.
That is true. And you know that Rangers, for the most part, are kind of looked on in these parts with a lot of suspicion. Nobody really knows exactly what they're up to. While you are known for the songs that you sing and always having a tune being whistled, people do still cast a little bit of suspicion on you, just because nobody knows exactly what you're up to. But as you are making sure that our young elf friend is getting exactly what she needs, Aranel, would you like to describe yourself?
Yeah. So Aranel is an elf. She's 126 years old, which is just barely an adult for elf standards. She's got long blonde hair, not brown hair. Blue eyes. Usually wearing green or blue, depending on the situation. But yeah, she just wanted to kind of explore the world and get away from home, and she likes staying kind of towards the back of the group because she's a little bit of an outsider here, but I think she'll kind of relate to Thrush a little bit in that way.
She's definitely found good company, and it is a motley crew to be sure. And finally, panning over to our final party member, Larry. Do you want to describe yourself?
Yes. My character is Larry Rushlight. He is a man of Bree, so he has crossed paths with our Hobbit friend quite a few times since they have a common homeland, more or less. And being both well-traveled individuals, they do encounter quite a bit, so perhaps out of everyone here, they probably know each other the best, just for a few years of history. But Larry is, he came from a family of merchants that traveled around selling wares, and he learned he really does like the lands, but doesn't really like the mercantile trade, so he decided why not be an adventurer, go around and explore the land on his terms. And that is what he has decided to do. He's a young man, he's about 5'10", around 25 years of age. Tends to keep his hair pretty short just because he's got caught on things before and realized it's not a good idea to keep it long. So just tries to keep everything kind of high speed, as it were.
High speed. That's a good word for it. That's a good phrase for it. I like it.
That's good.
But he is pretty unique in his family, as that he does have lighter colored eyes, which is uncommon in his family. It shows up every few generations. But even more unique is that his pupils are different colors. His left pupil is kind of a slate blue-gray, and his right pupil is green. And some people kind of look at him like, is that a good omen, a bad omen? No one's really sure, but he just lives his life, and he's been trying to go around doing good in the world any way he can, and he's found some good company here.
All right. And actually, one thing that I do want to ask everybody is there is an aspect of this game called the Fellowship Focus. And basically what that is more or less somebody who you care especially for, somebody in the group who stands out to you, and somebody who you're willing to go the extra mile for. So I'm curious who everybody's fellowship focus is. Miragar, who's your fellowship focus?
Remember, I believe I picked Larry, mostly as the most familiar to him. Yep. And a lot of that's, we're going to have the longest history. I know our group has kind of been a group together on an errand previously. But still, elves make Miragar a little bit shy. So, everybody here he would probably do what he could for. And then Thrush is, kind of a hulking figure to him. His stories and adventures and stuff are exciting and adventurous, but still sort of intimidated as well. So I think Larry being the most familiar for Miragar, that's where his focus would be. I think it's kind of more of a brotherly attitude in an aspect, just because these other two are strange but friendly, and he enjoys all of their company, but maybe feel the safest. There's that a little bit of that Hobbit kind of safety net. I think he feels with Larry.
And Larry, do you share the fellowship focus with Miragar?
I do, because as he said, he's the most familiar to me. I find everyone here to be great company, and Larry likes to think he's a decent judge of character and thinks everyone here is fine folks, but there's just something about what you're familiar with that's comfortable.
Okay, very nice. And Aranel, who is your fellowship focus? Who are you most focused on?
So she's pretty focused on Thrush, because he does have a very fond appreciation for lore. And she kind of grew up studying a lot with her background, so she has a lot of like elven lore. So he usually kind of picks her brain about the lore that she knows of, and they kind of swap stories a lot. So
Okay, very nice. And then Thrush, is that reciprocated?
It is, because to Thrush, of the people in the group, while he finds them all fine people, lovely people, interesting, everyone has their stories, she is the riddle. She is the enigma. She is the not only the fountain of lore, but he can't fathom someone living that long. He's heard all the stories, and his people and hers are related through Numenor and everything, but it's a mystery. It's something he wants to learn more about and know more about, and he just he can't get enough of just chatting with her and trying to learn songs. And at the moment, what he's been trying to get from her is how to sing the lay of Baron and Luthien properly, and he's finding it difficult because he spends a lot of time speaking the tongue of just men most of the time. Mm-hmm. So when even though he knows some of the tongue of her folk, he stumbles over it a bit. It's not natural for him, even though he somewhat knows it. And again, like I said, it's lore, it's riddles, it's something he can't quite puzzle, and that definitely makes him. But also, he is a bit of a chauvinist, so of course he's more along the lines of like, okay, this is a woman, take care of her. It doesn't matter, she's basically his big sister, and if anybody goes and causes any problems, he's going to get very angry very quickly.
Yeah, she's the fairer sex of the fairer race. So I mean, that's a double whammy.
Yep. And he finds it entertaining at how she just makes everybody's tongues go up. What do we do now? There's an elf.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you know that in Bree, elves are not often seen. In fact, they don't often, at least in these parts. You might get a couple on the road venturing between Lindon and Rivendell, but a lot of times they don't stop through Bree. So most of the people here are a little befuddled that there would be an elf stopping in at the Prancing Pony. But as all of you are sitting there, as I said, there's a couple of groups of people just sitting at the tables. There's a couple guys singing at the bar very drunkenly at this point. And you see a young child. He's got this shaggy brown hair. You look at him. He's probably about 8 years old, maybe. He shuffles over to the table. You look down and you see one of his shoes is untied, and he just about trips over it. He shuffles along the floor and makes his way over to your table and says, message for you, sirs, and lady. And he slides just a scrap of paper over to you.
Larry's gonna flick a coin at him as a tip.
Oh, thank you, sir. And
You're quite welcome, young lad.
He puts it into a little sack that hangs off of his belt, and he scurries back over to his dad.
And while he's about to turn around, Rush is just going to take the pipe out of his mouth and kind of point down and just point at his shoe and say, you better tie that before you trip.
Oh, right. Thank you, sir. And he bends down, ties it real quick, and shuffles off.
Miragar will grab the note.
Pick up the note and you read it, and it is in a familiar handwriting. It seems as though this message is from the wizard Gandalf himself. He says, unfortunately, my friends, I am delayed. I am unable to meet you this evening at the Prancing Pony. I will send word as soon as I am able. And you see a little rune down there at the bottom that is basically the signature for Gandalf.
you
Well-
paraphrase for us, or did you read that out loud to us?
I'd read it out loud, and then, after I'm done reading it, I'd be like, well, he always mentioned being at the Prancing Pony a lot, and anytime I've ever seen him here, he's always doing something else. He's always a strange mystery, Gandalf. But
And he's just gonna raise his cup and say, "He's not late again."
if you don't follow normal time, are you ever really early or late?
I'm not sure he understands how time works.
Perhaps not.
Well, any case,
It didn't seem like he was in any trouble, did it, Miragar?
I don't know. Looking at the note and the scribblings, does it seem that it was written hurriedly? Does it seem like it was, just a regular message or anything? Can I glean anything from the note?
I would say, give me a riddle roll.
Nice.
Nice. Okay. So yeah, you take a look at the note. You glean that it looks like it probably was written in a little haste, but not so much that you think he might be in danger. More that he was probably preoccupied with something.
No, I don't think he's in any danger. It just looked like it was maybe almost an afterthought to leave us a note that he wouldn't make it here.
All right, fair enough.
Well, I guess we enjoy our dinner and
Suppose we
to
should see
hear
about
from him
rooms.
again.
Suppose we should see about rooms at the end then.
Well, Thrush, I was gonna hold this for Gandalf, but if he's gonna be late, you might as well partake. It is some of the best from the South Farthing, if you would like.
I don't mind if I do.
Well, an occasion such as this, with good friends, always calls for a good pipe. And Miragar will dig out his as well and kind of get a bowl or so ready, and allow those who wish to partake as well.
Nice. And then, yeah, while we're sitting there, Thrush is just going to be kind of trying to still hum and work out some of the bits of the song in Cinderin while he's enjoying this not cut rate pipe weed that he normally has to deal with.
Yeah.
Because he's been nursing the same drink all night as well, because he can't afford anything for the most part, because he's a ranger.
So about that time, you see, kind of making a grand entrance, there is someone who bursts through the front door. And you look and you see a dwarf. He's got kind of reddish hair, kind of a scraggly beard that's sort of unkempt, where a portion of it comes down the middle in a small ponytail. Most of it is kind of just brushed behind his ear with one braid that goes down the middle of his head and down his back. And he makes an announcement to the Prancing Pony and says, "Are there any brave souls in this inn who'd like to earn their fair share of a great treasure?" He catches the eye of three individuals who are dressed in some sort of foreign garb, and makes his way over to their table and begins kind of chatting them up.
Thrush is going to just kind of jiggle Miragar's chair with his foot, because he has his foot on the other bench. He's just going to jiggle it and say, "You could become rich."
I mean, I haven't really been on a true adventure, just some, explorations through the barrows, and that one time that I ran and had tea with Bombadil. I don't see why we couldn't talk to the dwarf. It's been a while since I've talked to a dwarf as well.
Well, this is how Bilbo's adventure started, right?
That is true. Even though, he claims it was the most fun he ever had, the beginning of the story is always rough to listen to.
I think it would have been terrifying for him.
Quite.
But this only looks like one dwarf, and we're not in my house to say, so I would entertain.
So 1/12 the trouble.
Exactly. How about you, Larry?
I suppose there's no harm in seeing what they have to say, but I don't necessarily want to stray too far in case Gandalf shows up. But we can see what he has to say.
Oh,
Well, we
I'm
could leave
sure
him alone.
Gandalf will find us if he needs to.
I suppose so.
And what say you, Aranel? Would you be up for a dwarven adventure? You told some tales of some elven ones.
Well, treasure's always exciting. I'm all for exploring and
And with that, you see, as you're all kind of discussing it, you see that he's still kind of chatting up the 3 foreigners sitting at the table by themselves. And eventually they kind of give him a dismissive gesture. They kind of give him a hand wave with their flagons in their hand. One of them actually spills a little bit out of his flagon onto the table. And he kind of gives them one of those dismissive scoffs. And then he locks eyes with you all. And he says, "Oh, look at ye! A mighty fine band of adventurers over here. Say, you all wouldn't mind going and hunting for some treasure, would you?"
You're not robbing barrels, are you?
"Oh, no, of course not. It's but about a week's travel up in the Weather Hills there, just up north.
Oh.
In a valley, there's an unguarded treasure that only I know about."
I've never heard of an unguarded treasure.
How did
There's
you
a
come,
reason only I know about it.
How did you come about this knowledge? I mean, unless you've seen the treasure, it must have been passed down to you.
The word is that it was left behind by me forefathers, and I went and I had a look for myself. But, well, along the way, it's a little bit dangerous. But I hear that it's good. The word is good. And it's there. Trust me.
Does it seem like he's being honest?
I was just gonna say, can I roll an insight on this dwarf?
What's the equivalent? Oh, there isn't.
There is an insight.
Yeah, go ahead.
Insight, not scan, right?
Correct. Yeah.
Okay.
It's
I'm
a
not good at
favorite
it,
skill
but-
of mine, and I rolled a bunch of ones, so that's always good.
oh no.
I'm not favored.
Ooh.
Oh,
No.
my goodness!
Oh,
Nope.
man.
Great.
Wow,
We're good
we
at this.
all fall into this treasure trap. Like we're all
We're
like,
just all in,
let's
baby.
go, dude.
All
No
right.
guarded treasure, a little danger on the road.
Yep.
It says,
Clearly
"Oh,
all very new adventures.
Thrush is going to say, after we all kind of just look at each other and everyone's like, and Thrush is going to say, how much of it's in it for us?
well, I suppose if we do find it, I'd say we all get an equal share. See, there's 5 of us there. I'd say we each get 1/5 of the treasure, eh?
What was your name?
Oh,
Yes.
my apologies." He steps back and he gives you a grand bow. He says, "Me name is Jari."
Jari. And
Jari?
do-
Miragar jumps down and goes to shake his hand. Miragar, 2-step. Pleasure to meet you.
And a pleasure to meet you, my Hobbit friend.
and
Larry Rushlight. And yeah, I'll probably get down and kind of on his level. I'm kind of used to dealing with Miragar and kind of just being polite to him. Hopefully the dwarf doesn't find it insulting.
and Rush will just nod at him and just say, Rush.
It's nice to meet all of you. And he nods over at you, Aranel, and says, "And what be your name?"
My name is Aranel.
It's a pleasure to meet one of the fair folk here in Bree. It's a rare sight.
Indeed.
If I might give you a little bit of detail, the treasure, it was supposedly left behind by my great uncle Bori. He supposedly left it buried there to protect it from bandits and things as such. It should be unguarded, I should say. But the road up that way, especially in the Weather Hills there, it can be treacherous, and I'm not a fighter, but I am a bit of a treasure hunter, and I got a nose for gold myself.
Yes. Well, hopefully there's not one of those... Oh, what did you say? It wasn't Bilbo's stories, a dragon?
Huh.
This far north? I mean, I doubt it. Maybe trolls, but even then, the Weathered Hills aren't known for too much of that.
Oh, well, I mean, I just thought I'd ask since you have quite a few stories from your dealings with Bilbo.
Could I get everybody to make me an awareness roll real quick?
Yes.
Certain.
I mean, we may not succeed, but we can try.
Ooh.
Clicked on it. Oh, there we go.
Okay, well.
Half of
boy, that
us
was a
failed,
good
half of
roll.
us succeeded.
Hey, it's better than all of us failing again, so we're
That's
getting
fair.
there.
All right,
Nice.
so as Jari is talking, Miragar and Aranel, you kind of look around and you can hear the shuffling of feet behind you, and you see what looks to be a bit of a bedraggled man. He's got long hair that kind of comes down to his shoulders. It's a little bit greasy, a little bit messy. He wears what looks to be a rain hat, and he's got an unkempt beard that just looks like he hasn't shaven in probably a couple of months. He's approaching the table, and he grabs one of the chairs and he pulls it out and he begins to sit down. And
On the table,
yeah,
he'll look to this kind of disheveled gentleman and then look back at look back at Jari and be like, this somebody else? You said there were only 5. Hello, sir.
oh, it's nice to meet you. Dimok is the name. I just overheard you all talking about some treasure, and I was wondering if you might need some extra help.
He'll look over at Jari and be like, it's his
It's his
campaign, I
find,
guess.
so it's up to him, I suppose.
I think the more the merrier, but we'll leave it up to Jari.
How would someone rate someone's if I were to look at him and say, how would I rate his physical prowess? Does he look like he's a weathered fighter? Is he a porter? Is he just someone who heard words and is like, well, he might have a weak back? Or
I would say, let's see, what might you...
Yeah, I think Larry's probably looking and sizing this guy up too.
Yeah, just by looking at him, you can tell that he is a little thin. He's a taller guy, probably about 5'11", maybe 6 feet. But he is rather thin and he is rather unkempt. If you want to know, kind of gather as to, if he is a proficient fighter or something, I'd probably need maybe an insight check.
try it.
Oh, wow.
Hey.
Oh, nice job. Oh, yeah, I did a great job there.
I'm not even gonna try.
Yeah, Larry, you look at this guy and you would swear that he probably, he might have swung a sword a few times in his life, but just the way he walks, the way he carries himself, he doesn't carry himself very confidently. It doesn't seem like he would be much of a boon in a fight.
Listen, I don't mind my company, but this is going to be quite dangerous potentially, and I'm sorry to say, it doesn't look like you've traveled or fought much.
And at this point, Jari kind of moves over to the other side of the table, claps him on the back, and he says, I'm with my Hobbit friend over here. The more the merrier, right? And he looks in Diarmok's face, and he gets real close. He says, right? Diarmok says, yes, of course.
Well, it is your treasure, Jari, by all means.
Thrush just kind of looks at the lady Aranel and just kind of raises his eyebrow.
They're probably looking like Larry probably just kind of shrugs, like, I mean, it's not our treasure, so I can't tell this guy he can't come.
Well then, Dimok, welcome to our little band here.
It's a right pleasure. Thank you.
I'm not, I've been in Bree a while, Larry. Are you from here? I don't seem familiar.
Yeah, but you mentioned it. Are you from around here, Dimok?
Well, not originally, no. I'm actually from down south.
Where from exactly?
Well, past Cardlin, closer to the Gap of Rowan.
Some distance to travel.
Some
What
traveling, yes.
what brings you up this way?
Oh, just looking for a better life. Not a whole lot going on in Rowan. And if you're not
Yeah.
proficient with a horse, you don't really have much station down there.
Yeah, I guess that would make sense. I don't know much of Rohan. Maybe one day I'll make it down there. But yeah,
Perhaps.
if the tales are true, yeah, I guess not really being comfortable around horses might not lend to the best life. Well, Bree is a great place to live. There's adventures and work and stuff plenty, and you might get to travel. What kind of skills do you have? Are you do you do any hunting? Do you work leather, or are you possibly a blacksmith?
Well, I'm a farmer by trade, and I've done, well, maintaining a homestead is mostly what my skill set entails, but I've done a fair bit of hunting and gathering and such, so if you all might need help on the road gathering game or such, then I think I might be a boon to you.
Well, if this treasure is anything like Jari says, we might get you enough money to start your own farm outside of town.
Well, perhaps.
Hey, that would be right nice. And Jari at this point pipes up. He says, "Ah, great then. We've got ourselves a party. Why don't we all rest up for the night and we'll set off first thing in the morning."
I'm sorry, Jari. You never told us your clan name. I'm just curious. You hail from any prominent clan?
Oh yes, I hail from the Blue Mountains, just off to the west.
Oh, I see.
That was me confusing east for west, not the character.
I was to say insight. No, okay. Insight into moss.
Yeah.
Nice.
And as a Freelander, would I be familiar with that name?
Yeah. I mean, you would know that there are Blue Mountains, probably a couple weeks travel to the west.
And would Larry be confident? Yeah, there's probably dwarves there.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, Bree actually has a few dwarves that pass through every once in a while. You know that down in the lower hillside of Bree, you know that there's actually a kind of like not a mini dwarven settlement, but there is a near the old town. There's kind of like it was like an old armory that has been repurposed. It's called the Dwarf House.
All right.
And there is one individual who takes station there and is there permanently. But you know that for the most part, whenever dwarves come through town, they stay at the Dwarf House.
All right. Gotcha.
Interesting. So before we leave, Thrush is going to then finally, since we're going to be probably retiring for the night, drain his drink finally, which is the last few sips he's been nursing for the last hour. He is going to start tapping out his pipe and then ask Jari, so when you're saying in the Weather Hills, is it skirting between Weathertop and the marshes on this side of the ridges, or are you thinking on the eastern? I mean, you don't have to tell us if you don't want this. I'm not going to set out and look for this myself. I'm just trying to get my mind set on our path.
I wouldn't worry too much about it. It's, I doubt you could find it without me guidance anyway. But the entrance to what's called the Vale, the Morgan Vale specifically, it's, well, you get in from the western side. It's about a week's travel out from Bree.
Is that familiar to Miragar at all, or is there a role that we can?
Yeah, I was going to ask if it's known to, or the area is known.
Yeah, go ahead and give me a lore roll.
Lore. I am not good at lore.
Oh man, I rolled all these weird numbers. Oh, I got a great success. Okay.
I'm good at lore, but I don't know if I would know this. So.
Okay.
Always roll it and see.
Alrighty.
Do it.
There you go.
Nah.
It's a tough. It can be a tough check, but Thrush, you actually know that in the last years of the old kingdom of Arthedain, there was a war with the dark land of Angmar, and the king's soldiers built many hidden fortresses and watchtowers along the Weather Hills as a bulwark against invasion. Had a lot of secret paths and stairs too that they cut out of the earth so that they could travel more unseen. They never left themselves without a hidden way out, and this Morgland Vale is no exception. So you know that the Morgland Vale specifically actually had the ruins of an old watchtower built by the Kingdom of Arthedain.
And Arthedain was one of the three kingdoms that Arnor split into, correct?
Correct.
Okay. So I'm assuming that since he knows about this, he's been to Weathertop and he's been in these hills. He may not have been to that place, but he's probably read on it. He's probably searched through some of the ruins here and there on his own. Mm-hmm. But even though he doesn't know that one, he's like, oh, yes. And he'll just, hold on to that knowledge for the moment until we can speak a little more in private to the group.
Gotcha.
And with that, Diarmok kind of stands up. He says, I think I'm going to go over there and see old Archie and see about getting myself an ale. I'll see you all in the morning.
Make sure to get some rest, friend.
Gives you all a nod, and he moves away. And with that, Jari also gets up and he says, I'm headed down to the dwarf house. I'll meet you out front here, first thing in the morning.
All right.
And then, yeah, he will, as soon as they leave, he'll just, lean in conspiratorially and kind of like with a little bit of liquid from the cup, draw some pictures of the hills and just say, this is where the line of the towers were and such, and explain exactly what he knows about them having this.
Yeah, Larry will probably pull out his map case because he's got a few tools just to give you extra stuff to help with.
Yep. And just point.
Thrush, you seem to know quite a bit. Here you are.
Ooh, excellent. Yeah, he'll just point with the pipe of this, or the stem of his pipe to, parts and bits and little drawings on the map, because I'm sure there's little stubs of hills like on this one, or stubs of towers on there. Like, these are the representatives of these. This is the line here before Angmar came in and, well, did what they did.
Right.
Wow. This is like a real adventure, guys. I know, Larry, you and I have talked about it before, but I've never really had the knowing of what treasure may lay out there. And then Thrush, you know all these stories, and Aranel, you left your homeland to explore the world. This is a first step for us, guys.
I suppose, friend. Might as well see. If nothing else, it'll be a good experience, and if we happen to find treasure, well, we can put it to good use, hopefully.
Yes, and if you've never seen Weathertop in person, it's a sight.
Oh, wonderful. I haven't been that far out east before, actually.
Maybe we'll have a story to tell Gandalf when we finally meet up with him.
True. Speaking of Gandalf, we should probably leave a message for him, yes?
Probably.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's probably wise to, if you don't mind penning it in Cinderin, something that the folk here will generally not read.
Alright, so Aranel will start penning out a note for Gandalf.
I suppose we can leave it with the innkeeper.
Right. So you leave the note in the possession of Archibald Butterbur, who then hands you over the keys to your respective rooms.
Does the inn have enough rooms that each of us gets a room, or
Sure, why not?
I'm just asking.
It is older than Bree Hill, you know.
Well, I feel like Miragar might have like a Hobbit apartment in town, just because this is kind of his main area. So he would, wish Thrush and Aranel and Larry a good evening. He's excitedly going to go pack and get his gear ready. Oil the bow he was gifted by an elf a few years ago, and kind of spend most of the evening there. Go, no, I don't need that much stuff. And then repack and just kind of obsessively pack for a while.
Yeah, before
Make sure you have
leaves,
pocket
Larry
napkin.
probably.
Yeah. Your pocket sand. Oh,
yeah. Yeah, before Miragar leaves, Larry probably like clasp his shoulder and be like, "Oh, we'll see you tomorrow, my small friend."
Yes, so we'll be off on an adventure.
And when Thrush stands up to go get his room key, he's just gonna look over at Miragar and just say, and look at his pack and point at it and say, "You only need what will fit in one of these."
Got it.
And he's just knowing he's like, oh, he's going to show off with like a bookcase on his back.
Carry on suitcase and the rolling one. Be like, I just wheeled the wheels last night.
And the Thrush will just look over at Larry and say, well, if he gets enough treasure out of this, he might be able to buy himself his own hobbit hole here somewhere. And, well, then we could all stay with him and eat all his food.
I suppose so. At the very least, maybe he can get himself a pony so he can carry his treasure.
And that's actually, I'm curious. Larry, do you have a place here in town, or do you, would you stay at the Prancing Pony?
His family is mainly merchants, so they traveled a lot, but they probably have some kind of small abode here as a rest stop on their travel routes, perhaps even like a warehouse type thing for goods.
I mean, you've got a common standard of living, so I would assume that if Bree is your primary residence, which, you could say that Bree's your primary residence. You've also got a couple of towns surrounding that could also be your primary residence. But if your primary residence is Bree, I would say that either you or your family would probably have an abode here.
I think that's fair. I mean, if anyone would prefer, my family has a home here. There's extra space if you'd rather not spend the money on the inn.
If we haven't spent the money, since someone in this group is quite frugal and doesn't really carry money, he would be more than happy to take a spot even on the floor next to the hearth.
All right, friend.
I mean, he sleeps on Weathertop occasionally when he goes through and just camps up there on the rocks. So this would be like a roof.
So, you all make your way to your respective dwellings, either your rooms at the Prancing Pony or your own homes. Do you do anything over the course of the night?
Larry would probably just look at his gear, make sure it's all in good order, make sure he's got everything he needs. But other than that, probably just make sure his new friend Thrush is well accommodated in his spot, and then go to bed himself.
Yep, he's just going to make sure that his weapons are in good order, everything is oiled, everything is set, and then spend a bit of time just practicing the song again before he goes to sleep.
Yeah, Aranel would probably do a little bit of writing before going to bed and making sure everything else is kind of set to go, like arrows and her bow and all of that fun stuff.
So as you all settle into your beds, the wind is blowing through the windows, trying to keep you all cool in the hot summer air. Night falls, and we are going to go ahead and take a little break, and we will be right back.
Welcome, Tavern goers, and thank you for listening to this Tales from the Dragon's Tavern production. I am JJ, and I just wanted to ask that if you are enjoying our content, that you go subscribe to our Patreon, Tales from the Dragon's Tavern, where we are making it our one-stop shop for all of the content we plan to produce. As we grow and we are able to give you more content, we will probably update our memberships, but for now, it'll be free. And it'll give you access to all our social medias, our Discord channel, and all of those places that you can get our content, but we're going to make sure it's all in one spot for you as well. Cheers, and I hope you enjoy Tales from the Dragon's Tavern.
Morning comes, and you all awaken in good spirits, ready to face the day. And you know, as Jari had told you, he said that he would meet you just outside the Prancing Pony first thing in the morning. Is there any quick business that you all would like to take care of before you head out?
Just probably make sure my home is cleaned up slightly, just so if my family does come by on their travels, it's not too much work for them to settle in.
Yeah,
But
because
other than
Thrush had mud on his boots and everything, and he probably doesn't even think about it
that,
because he's just like, what? He's also not that courteous, but he also just doesn't think about it because he doesn't have a home. He's just like, what?
Larry takes it in stride. He's like, he's always on the road. It's not a big deal.
So yeah, when we get out there, Thrush is just going to be in complete, his traveling garb, the long, leather coat and his form-fitting armor, the long sword, the big long sword over his back, short sword at his hip, the bow and quiver, and his backpack, and just looking ready to set out again.
All right. And as you all make your way towards the Prancing Pony, you find yourself in front of it, and there stands Jari with a large turkey leg, his massive meaty hand clamping around it, and he's just messily tearing at the meat. He says, "Oh, my good fellows." He tries to swallow a little bit.
Do you need something to swallow that down with, friend?
Oh. No. It's good to see you here. I'm glad you made it. And well, I'm ready to get going. Say, do any of you have a map?
Yes, I do, and so does our friend Thrush here. And I have some tools to mark on the maps, and Thrush here is well-traveled. He can be our guide.
Right. Well, what I know is that the Morgland Vale stands about right there. And he points onto the map. Right about there in the Weather Hills.
Okay.
Now he says, I'm not too familiar with the lay of the land around here, but perhaps you might take up the lead, and once we get closer, then I'll show you where we're going.
Very good.
And at this point, Diarmok kind of saunters up. Head kind of low, shoulders forward, slumped a little bit. He says, I'm ready to go.
Morning.
Oh, can we wait just a few minutes? I forgot something. I forgot something. And Miragar takes off.
Did you forget second breakfast, friend?
All right, the day is waning. Let's get going.
I'll catch up with you at the gate. Don't worry. And he kind of takes off, and he goes, and yeah, well, no, second breakfast. Of course, he runs by kind of his favorite little shops and does a quick little tour, grabbing some fresh pastries, some fresh apples. And, Thrush, you were probably at first impressed by the fact that really he only had his overstuffed backpack. But when you meet him at the gate, he will have kind of a traveler's sack full of fresh pastries and apples and things like that. And he goes, the turkey leg reminded me that I don't think I packed enough stuff, so I made sure we had fresh food for the day at least. And he hands out a pastry to everybody. He goes, and I grabbed some apples for the trip as well. as much as I know hobbits, you have a reputation of loving our food. I mean, you can't start an adventure on an empty stomach, and a hot pastry is the best way to go in the morning.
Just going to nod, and as he starts eating it, Thrush is just going to look down, look you over, just nod at your front pocket of your waistcoat. How many kerchiefs do you have? Do you have enough?
Common amount.
Oh. And just kind of look
Kind of
over at
like-
everyone else.
Fiddles it a little bit, Like, you see him
Right.
take one out and do this and put that in a different pocket.
Blair's just shrugging. He's like, I've seen all this before from my friend. It's not a big deal.
And after the pastry, Thrush is just going to kind of like wipe his face on his sleeve of coat of his armor.
You know, Thrush, I always carry an extra, and he hands you a nice, like, blue handkerchief.
He's going to take it like gently, and you might not get this back in the way that you've handed it to me,
That's fine. That's why I brought extras.
All right. He'll pretend kind of wipe his mouth as best he can. He's really not good at such things. He's like,
One of these days, we're gonna see if Bilbo's around, and we're gonna go hang out with him for a couple days. I think you need to see how a hobbit really lives.
I don't know if my stomach can take it.
I suppose so, friend. I'll walk up to Miragar and be like, "Do you have a kerchief for the lady?"
Oh, of course. And he like fiddles in his pocket a little bit.
Perhaps a nice green to match her clothing.
Green, got it. Yeah, I have this one here, and it is a nice green color. It's probably a little bit frayed at the edges. It's an older one, but it is still finely crafted and finely made. He goes, he hands it over. He goes, Aranel, if you're in need of one, and he like hands it over to you.
She'll do like a little curtsy. Thank you.
Of course.
Good man, Miragar. Everyone should be accounted for.
All right. And with that, Jari says, "Aye, you're a hobbit right after me own heart. Well, eat up, my friends. My great uncle's treasure, well, she waits for us. And ere we march on an empty stomach." All right. And with that, you all set out. Again, we're looking right about here is where you're at. Now, you all should have access to the drawing tools on the left side of the screen, about over here. So if you would, Jari is actually giving you the lead to get there. We'll say that you all are kind of starting right here at the crossroads. So if you wanted to go ahead and draw your route
To get up
to
there?
your destination.
Okay. What he would suggest, Thrush would suggest we head up and cut past, not going through the Chetwood, but going up through the opening, so we avoid the marshes, we avoid the deep woods, and whatever else. Just because he doesn't know how well everybody else travels yet, and this would be probably a good way to find out.
All right. Very good.
And that's what he proposes to everyone.
Well, I'm looking at the charts. I'm like, wow, that makes sense.
Yeah, the Chetwood can be a little tricky if it gets dark. Probably best, and there are, we'll pass by some farms and such that way too. So it's still a civilized area.
Right. So are we settled on that route there?
Yes.
Sounds
So-
good to me.
All right. Let me get over to my side real quick.
And for that drawing tool, by the way, there is a dashed option. If you go to, like, right below the party group, there's another little configure button right below the A that's almost hidden on my screen, and that allows you to change it. You can change the color to dashes and all that stuff. You can change text and whatnot.
Okay. So go ahead and let's see. Who do we have as the guide? So Thrush, you are the guide. I would have you go ahead and give me a travel roll if you would.
Okay, and if we're using his maps, do we add something on it, or would that not apply?
I will let you know if if you're using his maps. Um,
It's fine if you're like, I can't quite make heads or tails on him because it's, his handwriting, or I'm not used to the maps and it doesn't work, because it's his useful item technically.
I guess technically you could say that Larry, it being his maps, he's giving you a bit of a support function. So
All
yeah,
right.
go ahead and take an extra success die.
So that's a bonus die, basically.
Correct.
Okay, instead of support from a companion, because that's the hope thing, right?
Right.
Okay. All right, we'll click that one to the right, and we will roll.
Ooh.
Oof, that's bad.
Okay.
The 2 ones did not help.
Definitely not.
Okay. So you make your way, and it's about 2 days worth of travel. Just on the northern edge of the Chetwood. I'm going to have you make me just roll me a feat die. And what you will do in the chat down here at the bottom, just type /R space 1DF.
Okay.
Okay. All right. And then, all right.
He
So,
led you guys into. The thing is, he's so confident and just like, whatever, we'll be fine. We'll be fine. Because he's used to traveling by himself.
okay.
Leading a party around somewhere is evidently not his forte.
Okay. So as you pretty much, probably within half a day of you venturing off of the Greenway, you come to what looks to be a large stream. It's not quite a river, but it's a large stream. Not large enough to be mapped out, but it looks as though it's going to be very, very difficult to traverse. Aranel,
Yes.
you are going to be the target of this first event.
Oh no.
I need you to make me an awareness roll.
Thankfully, I'm good at this. Hopefully, this works.
She's
To
the
your
lookout.
L5C.
Nice.
Yes.
Awareness roll. Okay. Very nice. Very nice. All right. So you're kind of looking around. You're seeing if you can find a little bit easier way to cross. And as you're kind of looking around, you look down the stream, probably up to the north, and you can see what looks to be a tree which has fallen down across the trail.
Ah, my elven eyes see a way across.
Oh? What if you
She'll
go
just
there?
point at it.
Squint and look.
And
that seems promising. Let's have a look.
Let me get through. I can't see. Oh, there.
And with that, Aranel, you are going to gain 2 fatigue as you're kind of traipsing around looking for a way to cross this stream. And
How does
so
one do that?
you will look. Let me pull up your sheet real quick. Your fatigue is actually, if you look down towards the middle of your sheet where it says load, there's a small square
Ah.
next to it that says fatigue. Just go ahead and put 2 in there.
Lovely.
All right. Very nice. And I tell you what, you were so perceptive. Go ahead and give me another awareness roll.
Oof.
Uh-oh.
Too close.
Okay. So, you make your way to this stream, and you have found a way to cross. As you all get across to the other side, I'm going to have everybody go ahead and give me another awareness roll, but take a penalty die.
Okay. And that's clicking to the left when we roll it, right?
Correct.
Okay. By the way, it does say we don't have sight on this if it matters.
Oh, let me fix that.
All right. My dice roll. Oh, there goes my dice.
Yeah, penalty. It's not happening for me.
Yeah,
Ow.
no.
Okay.
I think Aranel got the closest, and she still failed.
There we go.
All right. Can everybody see?
Yes.
So bright now.
All right. So you all make your way across this river. You
Gosh,
do not
Dwarf
see.
has a net on him.
Yeah.
Sorry,
You do not see, nor do you hear the sounds coming from behind you, nor the goblins creeping upon you. And they are actually going to waylay you on the road.
All right.
So the way that this works is since they got the drop on you, they get an opening volley, and you, unfortunately, do not.
That's not
Sad
good.
panda.
So you all are waylaid by this pack of orcs and goblins. This first, as soon as you make your way across the stream there, Larry, that misses as you hear an arrow whiz right past your ear.
He's immediately on alert after that.
Next up, let's see. Now, this one is going to target Aranel,
Rude.
No.
and he is going to go ahead and roll. That is another failure, as these orcs are clearly not super proficient with a bow.
Goblins.
Yes. And finally, Thrush, you are going to get an arrow sent your way.
Okay.
Oh, I get it. They can't see the hobbit, so they can't hit him.
Exactly. Oof.
Oh,
a great
no!
Oh, that is a great success. As this arrow makes purchase in your arm. Let's see. So he's going to do a heavy blow and add 2 to his damage. So you're going to go ahead and take 6 damage, and then you should see something down there in the chat that says protection roll tests.
Yep, protection roll test. So do I take the... I don't take the damage until after we do this, right? For
You're going to
sure,
take the damage either way.
Oh, okay. All right. So protection test.
And I can apply that myself.
Once I hit protection test, I don't have to add any dice to this. My armor should already have the +2. Yep, it looks like it does.
Correct. Yeah.
Excellent.
Okay. So as you hear the arrows whizzing past you all, and you whip around, and as soon as the arrow comes in your direction, you dodge to the side, and it just barely cuts you on the arm. You do take 6 damage,
Okay.
but you avoid being wounded.
Excellent.
All right, and with that, we're going to get into our first round of close quarters combat. So everybody, let me know what stances you are in.
All right. Just clarification. The damage is endurance, right?
Correct. Yeah.
I think Miragar will be in. Will stay rearward, so he's gonna pull out his elven bow and kind of notch and look at the rest of the party and be like, this is dangerous, guys.
And do you change this for us, or do we have to change it?
So I can change it for you, but if you right-click on your character on the left side there, you can see all of your available stances.
There we go.
You should also see a skirmish stance there, but that's for Strider mode, so I wouldn't necessarily use that.
Okay.
But just so you all know, you and the audience. So there are a number of stances which you can take. There is forward stance, which gives you an additional success die to hit, but also gives the enemy an additional success die to hit. There's open stance, which gives neither side an extra success die nor penalty die to hit. And there's a defensive stance, which gives one penalty die to an enemy trying to hit you, but gives you a penalty die for each enemy which is engaged with you. And then there's the rearward stance, which is somebody basically just standing on the outside of combat, firing arrows into the crowd. Now, rules as written, for each person who is in rearward stance, there has to be 2 individuals who are in a close combat stance.
All right.
So
that's
Thrush,
yeah,
not his
that's,
pick.
that's to avoid the people in rearward stance being overrun by melee attackers.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
All right. Yep. I guess
So-
Thrush and Larry will be in melee.
Yeah, Thrush is specifically, he is bold. That is his distinctive characteristic. He trusts in his fighting. He trusts in that, and he's trying to protect Aranel from whatever is coming this way. So he is going to basically push past her, just get as far as he can into the stream and try and stop them. Even if he ends up fighting in midstream, he is going to engage with the first orc that's coming across.
Okay.
Aranel's the archer of the group, so she's gonna stay towards the back.
Actually,
Alright.
I think, you know what? I think Miragar is actually going to change to open, and he's going to see Larry, pull out his weapon, and he'll pull out his axe and kind of creep behind Larry so he can kind of fight alongside him.
Yep.
Okay.
All right.
And are you all going to meet one in the stream as well?
Yeah, I think at this point, Thrush has already gotten injured and damaged, quote unquote. And yeah, I think we're all just gonna kind of run in there like, Larry's probably gonna be like, let's all of us focus one at a time.
Okay. And then you all outnumber the close quarters fighters, so you can choose which ones you are engaged with.
All right. Well, I believe Thrush would go first technically, since he's in the more aggressive stance.
Correct.
So I would probably just follow his lead at this point,
Okay.
just
So
to see how combat flows.
Thrush, you are first up. Since you are the one in open stance, you are the first to act.
All right, so he is, like I said, boldly going in there and doing this. So would he use his, when I attack, do I click on, I'm trying to remember, the longsword or my skill of swords?
So you
The
click
actual
on the
weapon.
longsword. Yeah.
Okay, excellent. All right, so I am going to make sure that I have this fellow targeted. And I'm going to click on the longsword. All right, so it's one of those and 3. All right, I think this is correct.
Oh, snap.
That
Nice.
is pretty good.
Immediately doing 5 damage as you bring your sword across this orc's side, cutting deeply into it. It cries out, "Rah! I'll get you. You're gonna pay for that." And I believe that is your turn, Larry. It is your turn. And don't forget, you all do have additional actions that you can take in addition to just attacking based on your stance.
That is correct. But that does...
Oh, that's for forward stance. It would be intimidate.
Correct.
Yes.
Now, we can do that in addition to attacking or instead of attacking.
It's one or the other.
Okay.
Yeah, you can do a secondary action, but those secondary actions are limited to, say, I'm going to take my helmet off and throw it on the ground, or, something that can be done really
Gotcha.
quickly.
Gotcha. All right, Larry's gonna attack the same orc. And he's in open stance. All right. And he's using
By the way, was I
his-
supposed to have added another die for something because we had them outnumbered, or is that just removing a minus?
You having them outnumbered doesn't really give you any additional bonuses to attack anyone in particular.
Well, I don't hit.
Okay, so you see this orc get slashed across the side by Thrush, and you bring your spear and try to jab it in, and he nimbly dodges to the side. Next up is Miragar.
So I think seeing Larry and Thrush in combat, Miragar is going to try the rallying? Because he's in open, so he's going to do his enhearten roll, and if he succeeds, they will each get a 1d4 extra damage on their next round.
Ooh.
Nice.
I don't think so. Nope.
Tough one.
Aw.
That's a tough one.
Yeah, guys, you can do it.
You try to give a nice rallying speech to enhearten your allies, but unfortunately they're a little distracted with the foes that stand before them.
That's fair.
All right. And Aranel, it is your turn.
Alrighty, she is going to notch an arrow and try to hit this goblin across the row.
Okay.
Nope.
Unfortunately not. Your arrow sails wide. All right. And it is this goblin's turn. He is going to fire at Miragar. And let's see. All right.
That's
well,
good for us.
yeah, the
Yeah.
Gandalf rune means that he fails.
Get Gandalfed.
Yeah, as you're there squaring off with this orc soldier, you see an arrow stick in the wooden log that you're standing next to. All right, next up we have this orc soldier here. He is also going to attack you, Miragar. And you see he
Rude.
raises his scimitar high and is about to bring it down upon you. Let's see. Dang, Gandalf runes all over the place, man. Wow.
Yes. He might not be here, but he's watching out for us.
There you go.
Just somewhere in the corner in the woods, you just see a tiny bit of smoke from a pipe coming out.
I see Miragar like arrow in the thing, and then he dodges behind a branch, and the scimitar hits the branch. He's like, "Ah!"
He's like
All right.
ducking behind that log that we're next to on the map.
He's just giggling.
You all
Alright.
right, buddy?
So, you see this goblin over here is looking out at the archer on the other side and decides that she is going to be the primary danger.
Almost another Gandalf rune.
And,
Oh,
dang, man. Can't hit you.
Oh, she's
Can't
not
hit
that
anybody.
dangerous.
she's so blended in that I couldn't see her.
Oh, man. Okay. Well, this is all just a comedy of errors, I say.
On both sides.
All right. So this one, Rush, you are just Thrush, you are just rushing in at this orc, and he is going to, as you kind of dance around each other with swords drawn and flailing around everywhere, he is going to go in for a quick swipe. And he's already got his bonus die applied. Shoo.
Oh no.
All
really
right.
don't
So
like
I
Frost.
have 2 extra success dice. So I can do, let's see, I need a 10 to beat your pierce. And I can only add 4 to it. You're not carrying a shield. So I'm going to go ahead and use 2 heavy blows, which means you're going to take 9 points of damage.
Okay.
Oof.
Goodbye, Thrush.
Warn message. Should be weary. Oh, you guys are getting weary?
Why should Miragar be weird?
At this point, Thrush, you are fatigued from battle already. Your load currently exceeds your endurance, which means that you are now wary. And what wary does is if you roll a 1, 2, or a 3 on your success dice, it counts as a 0.
Okay.
So
But not on the trait die, just on the success dice?
Correct. Now, what
Okay.
you can do in order to reduce your load is next to your weapons, you should see a little drop bubble. You can
Yep.
drop anything you need to reduce your load and make yourself not wary anymore.
Okay, got it.
Relieve your wariness, so to speak.
Got it. And
So
now,
that-
is that an extra action? Is that my action?
That is considered kind of a secondary action. You can do
Okay.
that in addition to your attack.
Okay, cool.
It's kind of like a free action.
I
All right.
like it.
So next up, finally, we have this goblin archer. Larry hasn't seen a whole lot of action, so he's going to fire at you.
Rude. You don't know what I've done on this road.
And that is definitely a failure as the arrow sails wide and flies in between Thrush and yourself. All right, back to the top of the order. If you all want to change your stances, go right ahead.
Yeah, saying that Thrush is in danger.
Let's
It's
see.
going to actually.
I'm gonna go defensive, and I'm gonna use the protect companion ability if you want to keep attacking.
Yeah, and I'm gonna go forward now to try and take pressure off of off of Thrush.
Okay, and he's gonna stay since, like I said, he's bold. He doesn't shy from this stuff. He's just going forward, but he is going to drop his great bow just into the river,
Okay.
which will bring his load down to 10.
All right.
Now, does that make him not weary because of the load, or does the weary still stand, or would he have to drop even more?
I think it has to, in order for you to be weary, I think it has to meet or exceed your
Your load.
load.
Okay, so right now it meets. It's the same.
Yeah, so yeah, it meets. So yeah, you'd still be
So
wary.
He'd have to drop. So if he also dropped his short sword,
Right now, technically, yeah. So you are currently carrying your short sword. So if you wanted to drop your short sword next turn,
yep. Okay.
you can do that.
All right. So, but this turn he'll be weary when he attacks, which means he's going to.
It's gonna be harder to succeed.
It's going to be harder to succeed the 1, 2, 3s. Okay, good. Well, at least he knows he dropped the bow. He's on the way to doing better.
He's on the way to success.
On a road to success or death or something. All right. So yeah, let me know if we're ready to go. He'll
Yeah.
Everybody in their
Kick it off.
preferred stances.
Yes.
Yep. All right. So first up is Thrush once again.
All right, we'll see what happens to him this time. Right, he is doing his sword, and he is weary, and he's got the numbers and the stuff, and he's got the extra die. All right. Ooh. All right, that's good.
Nice.
And it's gonna all he can do. It looks well. Can he can only do a heavy blow, or can he do a pierce? Wait.
Well, so the pierce, you probably wouldn't. No, you wouldn't make it there because you can add 2, correct? And that would bring it to a 7.
Yeah, it says special success number 1. Heavy blow is highlighted. The other ones are grayed out.
I mean, if you click on it, it'll highlight them. But I would not.
10 to beat, and add 1 to feat die, 10 to beat. Oh, and the feat die right now is
You're at a 5.
only a 5. Okay, yeah, so that's not gonna work. Okay, I'm understanding it. Okay, so he'll just do that.
Okay. Oh, that might do it.
Pretty good.
Let's see. Oh, just barely. So you bring down your sword and you clip him right on the shoulder, and he winces and cries out in pain, but he is still up. You see his right arm is drooping, and he switches hands and carries his sword in his left hand now, and it's just swinging wildly.
Okay,
All right.
that's the best we can hope for with a weary roll.
Larry, can you finish him off?
I certainly hope so. So, okay, so it automatically adds the die because I'm in the correct stance. Okay.
Correct.
Nice.
All right.
Nice. Okay. So no pierce, but
Just the damage.
just the damage. All right. Let's see. And he is dead. Larry, would you like to narrate how you put an end to this poor orcish soul who had a family back home?
I don't know that.
Think of the orc children, Larry.
I'm more concerned about how he just hurt my new friend here quite a bit, I might add. But I probably, as the orc is switching hands because he's clearly broke his main arm, he probably just gets a quick jab in while his guard is down and just kind of right through the throat.
Right through the throat, and he gurgles blood as he falls to the ground, and you see the black orcish blood flows away with the stream.
And I'll just kind of turn to Thrush and nod.
And he'll just take a breath.
All right, Miragar, it is your turn.
All right. Well, I am going to do the protect companion. Is there a hotkey for that or anything?
No, there's not. I would just make your, I think it's an athletics check.
Athletics, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, just an athletics check.
On a successful roll, the next attack aim at the protected player.
Oh my gosh.
Nice. All right, and
So it is a D. So the next attack that is targeting Thrush will actually lose 2 dice because
Nice.
I rolled a success die.
very
Awesome.
good.
So,
All right.
I feel like Miragar kind of gets under your feet a little bit and is kind of standing there in like a defensive thing, and maybe is looking like he's gonna block any incoming attacks for you.
Does Miragar have a shield?
He's got a buckler. He's got
Okay.
an axe out a buckler.
He's just like,
Nice.
All right. And with that, Aranel, it is your turn.
All right, second burst, same as the first. And we'll try again.
Let's go.
We
Aw.
just missed.
oh
Golly,
no.
it's rough.
Dang it.
That is rough.
You get like whizzed right past his ear.
All right, and just so you know, Aranel, you can prepare a shot in rearward stance. Now it does take up one of your turns, but you do get a better chance of success on your next shot if you do so.
All right.
All right, so it is now the Goblin Archer's turn. And let's see. He looks over and he sees Larry, who just slew his compadre. And he is going to loose an arrow right at you. Ooh.
Oh, Gandalf was right there.
Oh man.
Oof. Okay, so instead of doing a heavy blow, he is going to force a protection roll, and he's going to try to pierce your armor. So,
All right.
Larry, go ahead and make me a protection roll. You see that down there at the bottom.
Yes.
Ooh.
Oh, I won.
I
On
won.
that one too.
Okay. So you're wounded. Go ahead and make an injury roll.
All right.
6. Okay, so you have a severe injury, which will heal in 6 days. Now, the thing about these goblins, their arrows are poisoned. So you are also considered poisoned
All right.
as soon as you take a wound. So we'll go ahead and I'm going to apply everything.
All right.
So you are wounded for 6 days. You are additionally poisoned.
All right.
Okay, so for future reference, a poisoned player cannot rest and must roll for the corresponding endurance loss at the end of each day. If the roll produces a Gandalf rune, the hero takes no damage and is poisoned no more. A successful healing roll done at the start of a day also removes the effects of the poison. The roll loses 1 success die if the poison is severe, and it loses 2 success die if it is grievous.
Alright.
This is just a normal poison, so it's not really severe. So the last part doesn't apply. But you are unable to rest and regain endurance points while you are poisoned in such a way.
All right.
So that is that goblin's turn. It is now this orc soldier's turn. he is going to trudge over his fallen comrade, seeing that Thrush is nearing the end. Now, he is losing 2 dice. Is that right?
Yes.
Yep, 2 dice.
All right.
Thrush is just going to salute him as he comes in, grinning at him with the blood coming out of his
sitting
mouth.
there ready to block the incoming attack.
And you do. As he brings his sword down, you raise your buckler, and it just bounces off.
Dude, just like jump in the air, like, eh.
This actually shocks Thrush a little bit. He was expecting, the things coming at him, and he just hears a clang, and he just kind of looks down at Miragar with kind of a smile on his face.
Miragar just looks up at him.
You are full of surprises.
So, this goblin, he is actually going to move in, and he is going to draw his jagged knife.
Rude.
And he is also going to attack Larry. Larry, let me target you. All right.
No, you're not allowed.
This is what happens when you meet a stranger in the Alps, Larry. Ho!
Oh no.
Jeez. Okay.
All right.
You hate this guy.
What did he roll on his feet die? Okay, so he won't be able to get another pierce in there, unfortunately. Which is good for you guys, because if Larry does take another pierce, then he's automatically unconscious. But he's going to go ahead and add 2 to his damage roll. And so, Larry, you are going to take an additional 6 damage.
All right.
And Larry, you are now wary.
All right.
Shoo!
At least you're not miserable.
That is true. That is true. All right, and finally, Goblin Archer number 3. He is going to target Aranel.
Oh,
Dang it!
Larry.
Once again, you and your elvish skill, you just dodge nimbly to the side, almost as if you're bobbing and weaving to a rival boxer. These arrows fly past your head as your hair just kind of flies in the wind produced by the arrow. All right, I guess that's turn. Thrush, it is now your turn. Choose your stances wisely, my friends.
He is going to, because he's now got a small Hobbit of Bree protecting him, he's going to stay in this stance. Real quick question. For if you were to use a skill in battle, that would be like if you wanted to do something like battle or something like that, that would take place of your attack, correct? Like if you were trying to find a way, inspire somebody to do something, help someone like that. Like, I don't know, give somebody a pointer, like, Miragar, go for his ankles while I attack him, and then...
Yeah, I would say, so there are specific combat functions. Let me take a look at something real quick here. Let me see.
Okay. And I know these are separate from the normal combat stance options that we can do. I'm just mostly curious, because the Thrush does have skill in battle, but it doesn't make a whole lot of sense for him to be able to do it in the fight, unless the rules say it can.
Okay. So the battle skill can be used to gain advantage when fighting against a group of foes or leading a company of troops in open battle and maintaining order in the midst of chaos. So I would say if you wanted to try to gain an advantage on your foe, it would take up your action this turn. But if you succeed, then you would gain an advantage on him next turn.
Okay, well, I think he's contemplating that, but then he thinks, we just have to try and take him down. So he is literally just going to say, yell out, take this one down and mop up the rest of them, and he's just going to attack. So that'll be his thing is going to be attacking that guy. I have to switch my target first. Boop. All right. All right. So he's also going to drop his short sword, if I can. Wait, is it dropped? Wait.
I think it might already be dropped.
Oh yeah, it is. Okay, his load is now 9 instead of 10, so he shouldn't be
right,
shouldn't
so-
be weary then, I guess.
Yeah. So if you want to click out of that, you hold Alt and then click on it.
Okay. Boop. All right. Excellent. Great. So he is going to, with renewed vigor, he is going to hopefully hit this guy.
Nice.
Very nice.
5 damage. Very nice. All right. It's a good. It is a damn good thing you got out of that weary state, because those would have all been zeros, my friend.
Exactly. I was like, with all the 1s and 3s and stuff I've been rolling.
All right. You take a look at him. You do 5 damage, and he hadn't been touched up until this point, but you catch him pretty good. Knock him with the blunt side of your blade right across the head, and you can see you rang his bell a little bit.
Nice.
All right. Larry, it is your turn.
Larry's gonna drop his shield, which should get him out of the weary state because his load is now 14. So there we go.
All right.
And he is going to attack the orc as well. And you can see he is very much grimacing in pain, and he can feel that poison flowing through it. And it's not a good feeling.
Oh, and unfortunately, it's leaving its mark. You can feel as the poison courses through your veins. You feel this wincing, almost like a fire, flowing through your body, and it's almost incapacitating, preventing you from attacking effectively.
Yeah.
Will you? We're gonna cut this out in post. I swear to God.
We'll fix it in post.
Is she just cheering us on, or is she?
No,
I'm not
it's
sure.
probably one of my idiot neighbors shooting off fireworks like they always do.
And here I thought she was on our side.
Yeah, she doesn't care.
Mine are demanding attention or being loud, so I've literally just been petting them with the whole time.
All right, and Miragar, it is your turn.
Man, tough decision. I think, obviously mechanically on the map here, it's not going to show, but I think he's going to slide in between both Thrush and Larry, and he's going to try to aid Larry this next round, since as much as seems to be better off, he can tell that these arrows have done a deal to his he looks fatigued and probably poisoned.
Okay.
Nope, do not give the protect.
It's probably hard to block the arrows.
Yeah.
As you move through the stream, you see one of these rocks has some moss on it, and as you try to cross over it, your foot slips. And not this one, but actual moss. Your foot slips, and you don't feel like you've got solid enough footing to protect your compadre. Aranel.
Turn it.
All right. So this round, she is going to prepare a shot at the orc this time.
Okay.
So I will roll a scan.
Oh, no. Oh,
Oh,
Automatic success, baby!
nice.
and a star. Oh, that's
Very nice. All right. So your next attack should get, if I remember correctly, it should get an additional success die. Am I correct?
I
For
believe
each
so.
success die, I think she gets one more
bonus
die.
die.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So real quick, let's talk about what she just rolled, because she rolled both the Gandalf and the Eye of Sauron. If you will maybe highlight her character and kind of give us a quick info on that.
So she rolled the Eye of Sauron and a Gandalf rune. The Gandalf rune, luckily, means an automatic success. So anything she's trying to do, if she rolls a Gandalf rune, that means she succeeds. Now, the Eye of Sauron can mean a couple of different things. In this context, it just counts as a 0. However, if she were to have enough success die to where it counted as a 0 and yet she still succeeded, it would count as a success with a woe. And basically what that means is she still succeeds in what she's trying to do, but something negative also happens. So it's very good that she rolled that Gandalf rune, because more than likely, somebody's gonna die.
Probably, hopefully.
And there's a good chance that it could be one of us too.
Yeah.
Keep our fingers crossed.
Just don't get in the
Alright.
way. It'll be
That
fine.
was her turn. That was Aranel's turn.
My own fault for being tall. Got it.
You see. Let's see. Tell you what, this one is actually, he sees Miragar trip over that mossy rock, and he's going to take aim at him as he tries to regain his balance. Gandalf
Thank you,
rune.
Gandalf.
Automatic failure for him. So he misses, and as you kind of stumble a little bit, you feel the wind off of an arrow pass over the nape of your neck.
I feel like maybe as I'm getting up that first, he's like, ooh, that's where he's going to be. And I slip again. A happy little mistake.
Just a happy accident. All right. So, Thrush, this orc is going to try to finish you off, and he's going to try real hard.
Hey.
So you are in
Gandalf
open
room.
stance.
Gandalf room. Gandalf room. Or just a lot of twos. Oh dear.
Ooh.
Okay.
3?
So, he didn't roll any success icons. He only got a 7 on his feat die, so you're going to go ahead and take another 3 damage.
Okay.
Thus becoming weary once more.
Again.
I'm running out of clothing I can drop.
I can't hear anything, but they hear everything. It's crazy, man. All right.
Oh, it's just because the headphones are really good.
Definitely got my money's worth with those. This goblin's going to come at you, Larry. He's going to try to finish you off.
Of course he is.
Because why wouldn't he?
It's a very goblin-y thing to do.
Nice
Yay.
try.
As he lashes out, he says, "I'm going to turn you over a spit and have you for dinner." And you nimbly dodge out of the way.
I mean, in my current state, probably more parry. Oh, actually, parry
Oh,
with
that's
my
true.
spear.
That's right. Oh, did you drop your you dropped your
I-
shield, didn't you?
Yes, so I'd probably just like kind of like a flourish with the spear.
And he pulls back and he just kind of growls at you. Nah!
It'll take more than that, little guy.
All right, and finally, let's see. My screen is cluttered with these character sheets. This guy is, you know what? He's also going to fire at
Miracle?
Larry.
Oh.
All right, Larry. Dag nabbit, you and your high defense, your high parry.
You already poisoned me and injured me for 6 days.
I know, but I'm trying to kill you. All right, so he looses an arrow and it sails wide. All right, Thrush.
All
Or
right.
change your stance if you all are going to.
Trying to decide here. He's not aware of what she's doing back there, so he's not going to know, hey, she's aiming, lining up a shot. So he is going to just keep being headstrong and trying to take this thing down. And that's his plan.
All right.
It's a simple plan.
Yeah, the real stay in
Um,
would be a little conservative.
So, yeah, he will stay in the same stance because he'll get the extra die, even though, 1s, 2s, and 3s aren't going to count since he can't drop anything else right now. He has his sword and he has his armor. And that's it.
All right.
Take off your pants.
It's not going to work. He's just going to steady himself and move in for another attack.
All right.
Let's see. I have him targeted, and let's see what happens.
Hey.
Nice.
All right. Nice. You lunge forward and you, let's see, how many hit points does he have yet? Or, I'm sorry, endurance.
I feel like he's
Okay.
still pretty healthy.
He's well, not after this. He's not looking too good at all. You plunge your sword deeply into his stomach, and as you withdraw, you see he is swinging wildly, almost as if he's in his death throes. Larry, it is your turn.
Saying that this orc is on his death throes, he's probably just gonna. He wants to just get this goblin out of his face at this point.
Okay.
So he's gonna target the goblin. Oh, special success. All right.
Nice.
Nice.
Okay.
So
You have the option of a couple of things: heavy blow to add more damage, or you can trigger a piercing blow, which would cause him to be wounded. Now, fair hint before you decide:
yeah.
a lot of enemies are taken off of the map, or basically killed as soon as you wound them.
All right. I will try to pierce him.
All right. So let's see if he can protect against you.
Oh, sorry.
Oh man, he is protected. But the good news is he does still take the damage. So you thrust your spear, and it catches him just on the inside of the thigh as he tries to dodge out of the way, unsuccessfully, might I add. But you do accomplish damaging him.
I'll just kind of like probably sneer at him, like, you should probably leave now.
I'll have you. Miragar, it is your turn.
I think he's going to do the same thing. He's going to attempt to protect Larry.
All right. Oh, that was so close.
Oh,
no.
It was
And
so
there was
close to that
success
10,
dice.
man.
It was.
wow.
Gravity totally screwed you over.
Digital
Yeah, a little
gravity
bit there.
strikes again.
Dang it, Foundry.
All right. Next up, Aranel, you had prepared a shot.
Yes,
It's time
sir.
to lose it.
Alright, so I believe I only got one success, yeah?
Well, you
Yeah.
get the auto. Yeah.
Get an extra
So
die,
that's
yeah.
just one bonus time?
Yep.
Beautiful.
No!
Oh, no.
Are you kidding me?
What is happening?
Oh no!
That is terrible. I'm so sorry, Aranel.
Dang it.
Okay. Oh, you know what? I apologize, and I will let you. I tell you what. I will let you take this back because I forgot to tell you. I'll let you roll again. You do have a hope pool as well that you all can pull from.
Oh.
Okay, beautiful. There we go.
Yeah. All
Yeah.
right.
Alright.
Yeah,
A
that's
little
much better.
Now we're
Much
killing
better.
orcs.
Alright.
Yeah, that would have been good to know. Is hope only for attacks or?
It's for any roll.
Okay.
It's for any roll.
Yeah, that would have
Alright.
been good to know.
Yeah, I apologize for that. That's my bad.
There we go.
All
right.
good.
So you do 9 damage,
Nice.
and he is effectively out of combat.
He's
Nicely
effect
done.
status dead.
Nicely done, Aranel.
My favorite effect status ever.
Yeah. All
That's a
right.
good one.
So, seeing that, you're going to see this archer. He shifts over to the other side of this one, and he is going to change targets to Aranel, hoping to take this deadly archer out of the fight.
Dang it.
Shoo! Okay, so go ahead and make your protection roll, please.
He's piercing you.
Oh, no! You are wounded. You are wounded, unfortunately.
Oh, whoops.
Oh, man.
I accidentally clicked it. She's got to do it herself.
Alright,
Oh,
so
she's gonna do it herself. Okay.
3 damage? Is that? Oh, injury roll.
Yeah.
There we go.
Okay, I was like, wait a minute. Okay, so you have severe injury for a duration of 3 days. So we're going to go ahead and apply all of that, and then you are also poisoned.
Ooh.
No.
As you feel this arrow just kind of scrapes across your side, draws blood a little bit. You feel the searing pain as the poison flows into your veins.
Ah!
All right, that is his turn. He's dead. He is not dead. Larry!
Yeah. Come on, the orcs are dead. They should run away.
You're on the menu. He's going to try to finish you off. No one kills my boys and gets away with it. Oh. Oh, man. Come on. That was 2 6s.
Not enough.
2 6s is in the 20.
All right. Let's see. Seeing that, I think, Larry, I think this one's gonna fire at you too, man. You know, it's nothing personal.
Do they still have the minus? Or wait, oh, you didn't succeed at your. Oh, I forgot. You can get to protect him.
Yeah, but he misses too.
Nice.
By a lot.
Unfortunately, he misses. All right.
Very.
So, change your stances if you want. It is back to the top of the combat round. It is round 5. Thrush, if you're staying in forward, you are up first.
He is staying in forward, and he's wearily going to be trucking himself out. And now he heard a cry from behind. He doesn't even look back. But which one of them shot at her?
That would be this one.
Yeah.
He is trudging out of the stream and moving up to that one.
Okay.
Yeah, Larry will be like, yeah, the poison, get them off the feet.
And you
So,
see,
yeah.
as you approach, he drops his bow and begins to draw a jagged knife out of a small scabbard on his belt.
Okay, and again, give him that lovely little salute. Bring the sword up and attack him. I gotta make sure one thing though, because I'm supposed to be. Yeah, no, I am weary. Okay, yeah.
Yep.
Where's my attack? My attack. I lost my. Oh, there it is. I have so many things dropped. I'm like, where's my sword? I don't have anything highlighted anymore. All right. Now, I could use a hope point on this, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
If you'd
So,
like.
I'm gonna do it, and it will immediately take it off for me, right?
Correct.
Okay. All right. I'm gonna hit that, and here we go.
Good call.
Nice. Very nice. All right,
Just-
so 11 damage. As you leap out of this stream, you bring your sword down straight on top of this goblin. And he is effectively dead. Dead skis.
Nice.
Dunzo.
Okay.
All right. Larry, it is your turn, my friend.
By the way, since Aranel is my focus, did I need to do something shadow-wise when he got wounded?
I
Because
apologize.
that's why I was kind of like, no.
That's another that is
Oh,
another
yeah.
thing that I just forgot about. We'll get it. We'll get it all down. So, Miragar, you take 1 shadow point as your fellowship focus. Larry is wounded. Thrush, you also take 1 shadow point because
Okay.
Aranel was wounded.
Temporary or shadow scars?
Do
Is it
I also take
temporary?
the shadow point since Thrush was?
Thrush was never wounded per se.
Oh.
The
Just
wounded
took
condition
damage.
we're looking for,
Yeah,
yeah.
and it's
just
not
that-
shadow scars. It's temporary.
Okay.
It is temporary.
All right. Excellent. Okay, great. And that won't come into play during the fight or
Later, I think.
later, I guess? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
All right, Larry, it is your turn.
Yeah. All right.
Got this guy standing here right in front of you. Gunning for you. Nice.
Yes.
Success.
On the nose.
Protection roll.
Oh, ho, ho.
Come on, baby.
Yes.
Wounded.
There we go.
So is he just dead?
He is Dunskies. Immediately, you bring your spear and you jab it straight into his chest, and he gurgles.
That's what you believe.
All right. Miragar, it is your turn.
Miragar, seeing both Thrush and Larry just decimate these orcs and goblins, and Aranel shooting, he feels a little useless. He's trying to bolster. He's done a couple protections, and he gets the adrenaline pumping. He just charges this last goblin archer, and he's gonna strike at him with his axe.
Nice. All right.
And he is gonna use a hope die because why not?
Charge up to him.
Oh
no!
Trips and falls on the same mossy rock. Just
Damn that mossy rock.
Ah,
All right. So unfortunately, that misses. Aranel, it is your turn.
All right.
Can he do it?
She will spend another hope dice because she just wants to get this over with.
She is done. She has had it, man.
Nice.
Had it.
there we
Oh.
go.
Yeah. All right.
All right. So he's gonna do his protection roll here.
Oh yeah.
Oh, wounded. Immediately, just outskis.
I would like
Did I-
to think
It was
Miragar
fun.
distracted
Did I
that
do that
goblin
wrong?
by charging him and falling flat on his face for Aranel to
Absolutely.
get the perfect shot.
Is okay. We'll just apply. He is dead. So dead.
So
Yep.
Thrush is gonna move over to Miragar and just haul him up by the back of his collar and brush him off and
I
just
got a little excited there, I think.
you saved me. Thank you.
Anytime.
And
Picks
then
up
he's gonna
that-
kind of like look around and then realize, oh, those two don't look good.
Yeah, no, Aranel will just kind of like slump to the ground, like holding her side where she got shot.
Yeah.
Do we know from the previous thing we did, who knows how to heal? Would we know that, or
I am favored in healing and have 3 points.
Okay, Miragar.
So I
Miragar,
will
I
call
think they
over
get your
to
attention.
Larry and Aranel and be like, yeah, and he's like looking at this. He's like, their arrows are poisoned. You two, get over to the shore quickly. And he like starts tossing things out of his oversized backpack that's full of stuff and grabs bandages and
Larry
ointment. And
probably
he
like
goes,
goes back to help Aranel cross.
yeah, and yeah, I guess administer some first aid. I'm not sure what the rules are for that.
Just go ahead and make a healing roll.
And you can apply hope die if you want.
Yeah, you know what? He will apply some hope die because he does want to heal his friends.
All those numbers.
Ooh.
Nice.
Success.
So who was that?
And that was for you, Larry.
Okay. So what are the effects of that, Moss?
All right. So let me check here.
Would that get rid of?
Because I know, I know there was a little bit on first aid
So
in
first
the
aid.
combat section, but that's on wounds, so that is
Yeah.
something different, I think.
So you reduce the duration of the injury by 1 day
Okay.
for a success, and then 1 additional day for every success icon rolled. And then the poison is on a completely different set of the book. Let's see.
Of course.
Yeah. Because
So I have a question that you if you don't know the answer, that's fine. We can come back to it later. Now,
Yeah.
in the combat section, it does mention wounds. Could I have done a medicine check in combat to get rid of their wounds?
Come here.
Probably, but it wouldn't really. I don't really think it would make a difference. Well, I guess it probably would. Let me see something real quick.
I guess unless it's like
Actually,
a
I don't
1 day
know.
wound, unless it brings it down to 0, maybe.
Yeah, I would say unless it brings it down to 0, which would be kind of a minor. It'd be a minor wound if it was just like a 1 day wound. In which case, if it was a 1 day wound, I would say yeah, go ahead and
Okay.
make a first aid roll. Otherwise,
for
it wouldn't
future.
really do you much good. So poison. Let's see.
But I'm gonna roll my second one for Aranel while we wait for you to look at everything.
And you
So-
can only do, just so you know, you can do 1 first aid roll per character.
Okay.
Okay, per character.
Who else is good at healing?
I have one thing in it, but I'm not favored.
At least as it.
Oh,
I'm sorry.
dang.
you
I got an
beautiful-
extraordinary
you
success
beautiful
on the
Hobbit.
Aranel one, so...
Oh my god.
Are you sure that shouldn't
Nice.
be for me? Not kidding.
I just give you a SpongeBob Band-Aid and give all of my attention to the elf lady.
The pretty elf lady. Oh god, they're both simps.
So let me correct myself. You can do one first aid roll as it pertains to wounds. When it pertains to poison, you can do a healing roll. You can do a healing roll once per day.
Okay.
Okay, great.
So by how much is my wound reduced?
By one.
1 day?
Mhm.
All right.
Is
Were they
that
both?
for me?
Was yours a 6-day wound or a 3-day wound?
Mine was a 6-day.
And yours was 3. Okay, so
But I got 2 success dice, so that's actually all 3. I take care of all of Aranel's wounds at that extraordinary roll.
Nice.
wow.
All right. So
The
You all-
poison.
have made it through your first fight at the foot of this stream here, licking your wounds, curing your poisons, hopefully,
Picking up dropped items.
picking up dropped items,
Yeah.
drawing little doodles on the map saying Gandalf was here. We will go ahead and we will end the session there.
All right.
Ready to bed down for camp.
Well,
And
those of us who were poisoned can't.
well, I mean, you're still gonna have to sleep, but you're just not gonna sleep very well.
Well, just quickly though, poison. Do we have to make that roll ourselves, or does someone else do it for us?
So if you have any points in it, I would say that you can make it on yourself.
Okay.
Is that for healing? Or...
Yeah.
Yes. But I think because Larry, you already had a successful roll done on you, correct?
That was for the wound, not the poison.
I would almost count it as the same thing, really.
Oh, if that's the case, then I wouldn't be poisoned anymore.
No, you just not affected by the poison for the day. You're still poisoned, but it alleviates it a little bit. Basically, the way that it's written, the poison lasts until let's see. Poison roll each day. Basically, you are dying if you are down to 0 endurance. Poisoned hero cannot rest and must roll the corresponding endurance loss at the end of each day. Let's see. If the roll produces a Gandalf rune, the hero takes no damage and is not poisoned anymore. A successful healing roll is done at the start of each day and removes the effects of poison. The roll loses 1 success die if the poison is severe and 2 success die if it is grievous. So your poison is alleviated for the day.
Okay, so I just won't take any damage then.
Correct. Yeah.
And would that also mean I could rest then, because it was alleviated?
Yes. I would say you can rest.
All right, so endurance at least will go back up.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, awesome.
So
Nice.
then in the start of every day, I will do a healing roll to see if you are affected by the poison.
Yeah.
And then I guess would it be then if I get any Gandalf runes, or does he still need to make the save technically
So
until he gets Gandalf runes? Kind of.
I
basically,
guess...
he would have to be cured.
Yeah.
He rolls a so anybody who's poisoned rolls a feat die at the
Okay.
beginning of the day. If they don't, or I would say probably at the end of a day,
Right.
if they are not cured or if they are not alleviated for that day. And if you roll a Gandalf rune on that die, then you are unharmed.
Okay.
But the only way that it can be cured is if, the only way that it can be cured is if the person who is healing you rolls a Gandalf rune.
Okay.
Okay, cool. So when I roll them in the morning, if I roll a Gandalf rune, he's then cured. Okay.
Correct.
Okay.
Got it.
Yeah, all the more reason to have the person who's favored in it to roll.
And
More
has
chances.
3 points in it.
And
So
has
lots
3
of dice
points in
on that one.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so then I guess the normal thing is when we do a short rest, we'll be able to get our strength back in endurance or something like that. But
Correct.
if we do a long rest, we could get them all back unless we're injured.
Correct. Yep.
Okay.
And
All
so
right.
basically, a long rest is you're not considered wounded by any means unless you have the wounded stage. So really, the endurance loss is more you just being, exhausted.
Yeah.
A more immediate kind of exhaustion. So a good night's rest in a safe and comfortable place will restore all of your endurance points.
Okay.
Okay, great.
All right. So with that, I guess we'll just kind of go around and let everybody know where they can be found, what they're doing. JJ, let's start with you.
Yes. Well, I am a co-host of this channel here, Tales from the Dragon's Tavern. So you can find me running Tuesday nights on our YouTube, Kick, and Twitch. A Smoke and Barrel, a Pathfinder 2nd Edition game using the Skulls and Shackles Pathfinder 1st Edition, but we have converted it to So. And then I can also be found on Geeks and Gamers Tabletop a couple nights and mornings. Thursday nights I'll be on there for March of the Dragon Queen game we're running at the moment. And then Sunday mornings I run a game, which is a Pathfinder 2e, Starfinder 2e playtest stuff we have going on there. And then, all the socials for Tales of the Dragon's Tavern as well, which we have in the descriptions if you are watching us on YouTube or any of that. And let's talk to Frost. What do you got going on?
Oh man, with this starting, lots of stuff. So on Sundays, I'm in the Rift campaign. We just did the first Rift's actual adventure, just before this. If you're looking at real time, not YouTube time, and I'm now in this campaign. This whatever time we're out, just whatever time this is right now. And I'm also a Monday nights, the Cthulhu campaign run by Moss as well over on Moonskull. Tuesday nights and Thursday nights, I do Frost Written, the lore writing for Erudai's Legend Seeker RP. And that is, or RPG, that is on, let's see, I'm going to get this right. Geeks and Gamers on Tuesdays, 5 to 7, and Moonskull, 5 to 7 on Thursdays. And currently, the rest of my days are free. I just work all day.
Nice.
And I stream late at night, and JT yells at me a lot.
JC seems to yell at everyone.
Yeah, he yells at everybody.
He's a very
That's just his tone of his voice.
Perfect. It's fun. He also yells at Kyle, so I don't feel so bad.
Yelling means love when it comes to
Yay!
All right, tag somebody.
And Frost is also does a lot of lifting reps with his cats.
Yes. Yeah, 22-pound Calvinos. Let's see, who has not gone? Michaela? And I'm guessing Moss is last?
Yeah.
Okay, Michaela!
All right. So I'm mostly just in chat. So you can find me in the Geeks and Gamers chats, Geeks and Gamers Tabletop, Moonskull. I'm not usually live for Tales of the Dragon's Tavern. I'm usually replay crew for those shows. But yeah, so you can find me in the Discords. Occasionally retweeting stuff on Twitter, but don't usually post much. Commander, what's going on?
I am Commander. You can catch me Thursday nights on Geeks and Gamers Tabletop for March of the Dragon Queen with actually JJ and Moss, surprisingly enough. Funny how that works out. And otherwise, I'll be on this series now as it releases, assuming I don't get killed off. And otherwise, Thursdays and Fridays, I join my brother on his channel, the Puerto Rican Pistolero, and we do gaming streams. As of late, we've been doing Fortnite with my dad and uncle, who are both in their 60s, so it's a fun time watching the old men bicker and try to keep up with the young kids. But we have fun, it's a family affair, it's a good time. And let's take it to the boss man, Moss.
All right. Well, thank you, everybody, for joining us. I had a lot of fun here. First time running the game, so still some stuff to get used to, but it's definitely a lot of fun. So I'm really excited to get moving and get this in full swing. So as Frost said, you can find me over on the Moon Skull channel a couple days a week, actually. That's Monday for Call of Cthulhu, Wednesday, every other Wednesday for Wednesday After Dark, and then Saturday for Star Wars. And then Thursday nights, you can find me over on Geeks and Gamers Tabletop for March of the Dragon Queen. And then obviously here on Tales from the... excuse me. I'm going to edit this in post. And then obviously here on Tales from the Dragon's Tavern for The One Ring, Fear of Ages Past, and Smoke and Barrel on Tuesday evenings live. So go and check us out there. You can also follow me on Twitter if you want. This and that and the other thing. I don't really have a sign off just yet. I'm going to work on that. But until I do, I will bid you adieu. Good night.
Stay tuned for the next tale from this very lovely tavern.